So I thought I'd do another video on another one of my terrible game designs. The first one I did, Ghost Investigators, I put that video up a few weeks ago. This one was also done in 2009. I think it was the second one I did, and it's every bit as terrible, if maybe not worse. But anyway, this one is called Yo-Ho and a Bottle of Rum. Alright, so I'll go over setup and how to play of this junky game. Well, I'll talk about that in a minute. Let me go over setup. So the first thing you do, this is the board. Place the board in the middle of the table, in front of all the players. Each player will select one of the pirate pawns. You place the D4 and the two D6s somewhere near the board. Place all your barrel of ale and bottle of rum tokens or whatever they are down here near the bottom of the board. You place your barrel of ale and bottle of rum exchange tokens up here near the top of the board. Those are kind of hard to see, but it does say redeem for one barrel of ale and redeem for one bottle of rum, and there's one token for each barrel of ale and bottle of rum. And each player will get 10 gold doubloons, and then the remaining gold will just go up here near your dice in what's called the gold bank. Then you choose a starting player by everyone rolling a dice and see who gets the higher roll. And then you put the players in player order of player 1, 2, and 3. So we'll just say that's player 1, that's player 2, and that's player 3. So the object of the game is each player is a trusted mate on their own pirate ship, and the town of Pirate Haven is running low on rum and ale, so each pirate player is going to try to load as much rum and ale on their ship before the town runs out or before they run out of gold. Alright, so how do you play? So as I said, each player or pirate is going to send a member of their crew. They got to try to send them up here to the tavern where they'll buy a token for that they can redeem for either a barrel of ale or a bottle of rum, and then they have to get it back here to the rum and ale exchange where they'll exchange that token for a bottle of rum or barrel of ale, and then they can load that on their ship and go back for more. They have to make more than one trip because their captain that's sending them out doesn't trust them with more than 1 or 2 pieces of gold at a time, because they're afraid they'll lose it along the way at the various gambling dens, at the winches. You can be robbed. So let's go over all the spaces. So on a player's turn, starting with player 1, they'll roll the D4. Yes, it's a roll and move game. Again, I said this is terrible. You roll, and then you have to move the number of spaces, and you have to move the number of spaces. Now the first space counted as not this path. The first space is the rum and ale exchange, and then you can go, one space either way if you rolled a 2. Then the next player rolls and they move. Anyway, if you land on a robbed space, you lose all the gold you're carrying. Again, I forgot to say, before you start moving off from your ship, your captain allots you either 1 or 2 pieces of gold remember, each player started with 10, so you can go out with 1 or 2 pieces of gold at most each trip. So you decide that before you roll to start moving. If you land on the robbed space, you lose all the gold you're carrying, and it just goes into the bank. If you land on one of the 2 gamble spaces, this one or this one, you'll roll them bones. And if you get a 2, 3, or 12, then you lose 1 gold. If you get a 7 like I did here, or an 11, then you win 1 gold, which is taken from the bank. And anytime you pay or lose gold, it goes into the bank. And if you get anything else, then that has no effect, and the player just keeps their gold and ends their turn. If you land on one of the 2 wenches spaces, then your player gladly gives up 1 piece of gold that they're carrying for a little companionship. So you have to, if you're carrying 2 pieces of gold, you got to give 1 to the bank and end your turn. If you land on the brawl space, then you have gotten in a fight and you've got your choice to either lose 1 gold or 1 of your exchange tokens you're carrying and then just end your turn, or you can keep your gold and exchange token, but then you have to move to the jailed spot, and you'll lose your end your turn immediately and then skip your next turn. If you land on the jailed spot, then it's the same thing. You just have to end your turn immediately and skip your next turn. If you land here on the Find a Map space, then you'll roll the D4 and check the rules, which will state if you roll a 1 like I just did, the player finds 5 gold, so the player takes 5 gold doubloons from the bank and ends their turn. If you roll a 2, you are lost and you lose your turn, so your turn ends immediately and you ends immediately and you lose your next turn. If you roll a 3, then you find a bottle of rum or ale, so you immediately take a bottle of rum from the supply and put it in your inventory, and then you move your pawn down to your dock. If there aren't any more bottles of ale, or bottles of rum, then you can take a barrel of ale, put it in your inventory, and automatically move back to your dock and end your turn. That's if you roll a 3, and if you roll a 4, then you're on a wild goose chase, and you have to roll the 2 D6s and move the number of spaces that you roll. And I don't know if I mentioned when moving, but you can't move backwards. So once you start down a path, you have to move that direction. Now here you can have your choice, but you couldn't start, on one turn, end your turn here, and then on your next turn start moving back this way. You always have to continue on the path you're chosen. The only time you don't have to, you can stop and not move the full amount that you rolled is when you come to the rum and ale exchange. You can stop there whether you've rolled more or not, and when you're coming back to this is the tavern, the buy rum and ale, and if you're coming back to the rum and ale exchange, then you can stop there even if you rolled further. So if your player does make it to the buy rum and ale spot, then you'll exchange either 1 or 2 pieces of gold if you've got any left with you. For 1 piece of gold, you can get a token to redeem for a barrel of ale, so you take that and put it in your inventory. For 2 pieces of gold, you can take a token to redeem a bottle of rum. And then you have to head back and get back to the rum and ale exchange. And if you get back with your token, then in that space you redeem your token for an actual bottle of rum or barrel of ale, add that to your inventory, and then move your player back to your ship dock. There's also a steal space, and if you can land there with an exact roll, if you're trying to get there and you're here and you roll like a 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, if you're here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that would get you there. But if you were here and rolled a 4, 1, 2, 3, then you just couldn't move. But if you do get to the steal space, you can roll the 2d6. If you get any doubles, then you're successful in stealing, and you can take 1 bottle of rum if there are some. If not, you take a barrel of ale, and then you can immediately put that in your inventory and move your pirate back to his dock space. If you roll anything but doubles, then you're caught stealing, and you're moved to the jail space, and you end your turn and lose your next turn. If you run out of gold, either having it you've bought all you can buy, or you've been robbed, or whatever, you've run out of gold. Besides trying to steal a bottle of rum or barrel of ale from the exchange, you can make one attempt to pillage the town bank, and you'll roll the 2 dice, and if you get a hard 8, 10, or box cars, in other words 2 4s, 2 5s, or 2 6s, then you're successful, and you'll roll the d4 and you can take that amount of gold from the bank. If you get anything else, well, if you roll a 7, you can try again, and if you get anything else, you fail, and you can only make one attempt to pillage, so after that you can't make any more attempts. So finally the game ends when there's either no more ale or rum in the warehouse, or when all the pirates are out of gold, and then pirates will total their inventory. You get 1 point for every barrel of ale you have in your inventory, and 3 points for every bottle of rum you have in your inventory. And whoever has the most points wins the game. And I'm sure absolutely nobody cares, even I don't care, but I'll go through a couple of example turns. So it's player 1's turn. His captain is going to send him out with 2 of his doubloons. Alright, so we're going to roll. He got a 1, so he's just here at the rum and ale exchange. Alright, player 2, his captain's going to send him out with 2 of his doubloons. He only got a 1. And same with player 3, his captain's going to send him out with 2 doubloons. And he got a 3, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3. Alright, back to player 1. Now, because he still hasn't committed to a direction, he can go either way. Oh, what am I doing? He rolled a 1 again. He's just going to move here. Alright, player 2. He rolled a 2. 1, 2. Player 3. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, player 1. He got a 3. 1, 2, 3. Well, maybe something interesting will happen, but I doubt it. Alright, player 2 landed on the winches. So, for a night of companionship, he has to lose one of his doubloons that he set out with. So now he's down to 1. That ends his turn. Player 3's turn. He got a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, he landed with the winches too, so he's got to give up one of his doubloons. Alright, player 1 turn again. He got a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's safe. Alright, player 2. He rolled a 3. 1, 2. This is all one space. 3. Player 3's turn. He rolled a 1. He's right there. Player 1's turn. He rolled a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, he's at the rum and ale exchange, so he's still got his 2 coins, so he could either buy 2 barrels of ale or 1 bottle of rum. So he's going to buy 1 token to exchange for a bottle of rum. That goes into his area. Alright, player 2's turn. He rolled a 4, so he's there. He's going to do the same thing, only he's only got 1 coin because the winches took 1, so he's got to take a token for a barrel of ale. That's all he can afford. And player 3, he's going to make it there also. Yep, so he'll stop, and he's going to exchange his 1 doubloon for a token for a barrel of ale. Alright, so now they're going to start heading back, and they got to get to the rum warehouse where they can exchange their token for the actual barrel or bottle and put it on their ship. So it's player 1's turn. He rolls a 1. He can decide to go either way. Neither one is good. He can get in a fight or the winches. But because the winches only take gold, and he doesn't have any right now, he's just got his token for his bottle of rum, he's okay. Same really, same probably if he went to the brawl. Alright, we'll see what happened. Player 2, he's going to go to the brawl space. Well, see, that was a mistake, because in the brawl space you lose 1 gold or exchange token. So he's got to lose his exchange token. That just, I guess I could go back up here to the... Anyway, that's going to end his turn. Now he could have, instead of losing that, well, in fact, let's do that. Instead of losing that, he could keep it and go to jail instead. So he keeps all his gold or exchange token and moves to the jail space, but then he's going to lose his next turn. All right, it's player 3's turn. He's got a 3. He's going to go 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, he landed in jail too, so he's going to lose his next turn. So basically player 1, what did I just do with that die? He's just going to get to go basically 3 times in a row, I guess. All right, 2. He's going to come back. 1, 2. He gets to go again because player 2 skipped his turn. 1, 2. He gets to come back again because player 3 skipped his turn. 1, 2. Now it's his turn again. So 1, 2. He's almost back. All right, now it's player 2's turn. He got a 4. He's coming back. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's player 3's turn. He's headed back. He got a 4 also. 1, 2, 3, 4. Player 1's turn. Oh, he only got a 1. Player 2's turn. He only got a 1. Player 3's turn. He got a 3. 1, 2. He stops here. He exchanges his redeem for 1 barrel of ale. So he takes 1 barrel of ale, puts it in his supply, and then he immediately moves to his ship dock to load that barrel. And so on and so forth until somebody runs out of, until all the pirates are out of gold, or until there's no more bottles of rum and barrels of ale, and then total points. So there it is. That's how it plays. It's quite awful. This is the first time I played it, since I created it 11 years ago, I guess, and that's why I haven't played it again. I think what happened is I saw these components on GameCrafter's website, and I thought I would design a game around these components because I think these barrels and bottles and doubloons are pretty cool. But instead of adding components to a game I designed, I tried to design a game around some components, and anyway, it's terrible. I think it is worse than the Ghost Investigators game, actually. So anyway, I just thought it would be kind of fun to show. I'll in one of the future weeks, I'll show another game I've designed. I think none of them are worse than this, maybe. Anyway, thanks for watching.